Alright, what's going on everyone out there on YouTube? NES Ruler, and welcome to a brand new review. And this time around we'll be checking out a film that was sent to me review by Synapse Films, and you pick this up on Blu-ray at all your favorite online retailers. It is a film from the year 1991 titled McBain. So, what can I say about McBain? Well, first I just want to say that Christopher Walken's performance in this movie is absolute dog shit. You could tell that he did not want to be there. It's just a paycheck kind of a film. A lot of Christopher Walken one-liners that we all know and love, but he just seems uninterested, and you can just tell by his body language, his facial expressions, that he obviously didn't want to make this movie, but I feel like he was going to get paid, so he ended up doing this movie. And the end result is a performance that really does boggle down this movie. And you're probably saying, isn't that a crappy straight-to VHS action movie from the 90s? Yes, it is that, but at least a solid performance by Christopher Walken probably would have elevated this movie. Ironside is also in this film. He does a pretty similar job as Walken, but at least he gives a little bit more emotion to his performance, and it seems like he kind of wants to be there. But, this is a 90s straight-to-video store action film with some big-name actors, and that's basically what you're going to get. But actually, Christopher Walken plays McBain. He is a POW in Vietnam towards the end of the Vietnam War, and the day that the American troops are getting pulled away, he gets saved by this battalion led by Steve James, of course, who is in all these action films from the 90s. And Steve James rescues Christopher Walken, a.k.a. McBain. And one of these soldiers in this battalion is this Colombian, and he gives him half of $100 bill and says, you could pay me later, a.k.a. you could pay me with a deed later on because I rescued your ass. Fast forward, this Colombian guy is the head of this liberation front in Colombia, where he's trying to overthrow the corrupt Colombia government. He ultimately ends up getting murdered on live TV, and Christopher Walken gets the band back together, very similar to Blues Brothers, and finds all these battalion guys that saved his life, and he decides to go after the Colombian government and help the rebels overthrow the dictator in Colombia. And that's basically it. Goes around, blows shit up, kills all these corrupt Colombian soldiers, and he's trying to repay the debt, and that's basically it. And Maria Alfonso's character, she is the sister of the Colombia soldier that McBain became friends with once he got saved. Now, this movie is really, the plot is really boring. You're probably saying, hey, isn't it an action film? Isn't it supposed to be fun, entertaining? Sure, it is entertaining in some parts. It got a lot of explosions, high body count, all this stuff that you expect to see in a early 90s action film. But it's boggled down by a really boring and uninteresting script that I feel like goes nowhere. And the film runs 105 minutes or so, so I feel like by the end of the movie, it's just not that interesting anymore. The only thing that it has going for it is the explosions and the craziness. And the thing when you get to these kind of films where they get cleaned up so much is it kind of ruins the fun, because it's supposed to be seen on crappy 4x3 VHS kind of quality. But when you watch it in this kind of HD kind of remaster, you see all the wires and all the stuff. This movie does have some pretty awesome stunt work at some points, from stunt performance falling out of windows and things like that. So I do give it that. It has some really great stunts, and it has some great explosions, but it's just boggled down by a really uninteresting and overall boring script. So I just wasn't a big fan of McBain, to be completely honest with you. I just think that between Christopher Walken's plain and boring performance on top of a boring script, I just feel like it falls flat in the storytelling avenue that I usually like to see in films. But it is entertaining. And, I do watch Bollywood and other kind of action films, and they just do stuff differently that makes their action films a little bit more fun. At least they have some kind of interesting story, which I feel like this one doesn't. Transfer from Synapse. This is a brand new transfer from Synapse with a 5.1 stereo audio track, brand new 5.1 track. If you guys follow Synapse, you know they always do a good job with their releases. They always take their time and they give quality, and this is what you have. No really interesting special features whatsoever, which is unfortunate and unlike Synapse, to be honest with you. It has a commentary track from the director and a film historian and the trailer, and that's all it has. So not that many special features on this one, which is unfortunate. Again, it's low budget. Feels like a Canon film, just not as good as those movies. But no features on this, which are unfortunate. Packaging-wise, you have your Blu-ray with Christopher Walken and Maria Alonso's faces right there. And you got some awesome cover art and the back case and spine. So overall, McBain, is what it is. I didn't really have that much fun with it. The fellas that I watched it with from work, they had a lot more fun with it. They were a little bit more easier on it than I am. But, you know, I just feel like it didn't do much for me. So that's my review of McBain from the year 1991. If you guys like this review, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/NESRuler22. Hope everybody's doing well, and I shall talk to you guys soon. See you guys.